Hi, this is Joe again. So chapter 3 of I Learned It By Watching You is going to be talked about today. And this, along with chapter 4, is going to have me cringing a lot. You'll see. So how bad is this? Let's take a read. Me and Lou both managed to complete the cards by signing both our names with green and purple crayons for my name and red and blue crayons for Lou's. Lou said that Jeff was getting better each day and he might be well enough to come back to school on Monday. Today was Friday, so plenty of recuperation back at his house for today and the weekend would do him good. Yeah, I get it's a nice gesture and everything. At first I thought this was going to be like the two of them having different cards, like separate cards and both taking it to Jeff. Well, if that were the case, why would Lou bother making one if he lives in the same house as Jeff? And also, what kind of 6-year-old knows how to use the word recuperation? And do 6-year-olds even go into 2nd grade? I'm pretty sure if you're in 2nd grade, you'll be older than 6. Just saying. Monday before school started, me and Lou sat in the playground. Jeff was really happy about the card, and we made and thanked me with a surprise hug. Gotcha! Ha! Thanks for the card. It was really cool of you guys. I hugged back, grinning. Aw, this was no trouble. Suddenly, a shadow fell over us. Aw, isn't that cute? Freaky likes adoptee. When are you gonna take her on your date, Freaky? The graveyard? I don't know what that trope is called. It's eluding me at the moment, but you know, like those two villains on Power Rangers, like the old one, like Bulk and Skull. Yeah, Bulk and Skull. Insert the Bulk and Skull music right here. I blushed, pulling away from Jeff. Would you leave us alone already and stop calling us those names? Dominique stepped forward and poked me in the chest. Not on your life, adoptee. Without warning, Jeff stood and pushed Dominique away. Don't touch her. I scowled at Dominique. And stop calling me adoptee already. Dominique scowled back over at Jeff. Fine, I'll leave you and your freak of a boyfriend alone. She trudged away, rubbing the shoulder where Jeff pushed her. Okay, there should be a comma right where fine should be. Just a little nitpick. He is not a freak, I called out to her. I slowly calmed down, with my cheeks still pink. I felt Jeff put his hand on my shoulder. Hey, it's all right. I mean, it's not like she said it was an insult. He looked around, face slightly pink. Just then, the bell rang. See you at recess, okay? Yes. It is exactly what it's implying. I don't know what I was on when I wrote that. Why was I writing elementary school love? Elementary schoolers don't have that concept. Unless they're like a family member. But they can't understand romance. I'm deeply sorry for that. And I still regret doing that. Still a no. Still a big fat no-no. Oh, okay, I stuttered a little. Me and Lou both returned to class and went on with the day. That day went a bit slower than the other days, and I couldn't get my mind off Jeff. Granted, I was paying attention in class, but whatever little attention I had was on him. The day was eventually over, and me, Jeff, and Lou were at our regular spot on the bus. Me next to window on Jeff's side, and Lou in the seat across from us. Okay, another spelling thing. Okay, what's that? Oh, day was eventually over. Okay, that sentence is way too long. You could easily shorten it with the day was eventually over. Me, Jeff, and Lou were on our regular spots on the bus. You could have just ended there. The sentence drags on too long. Lou was staring towards the back of the bus for some reason. I turned my seat to see what he was looking at. What I saw was a girl with dark hair and glasses who was drawing in a notebook. Lou, stopped looking like a creep, Jeff said bluntly. Hey, I'm admiring from afar. Jeff rolled his eyes at this and turned to me. He probably doesn't even know what that means. Poor kid's love struck. Dude, you don't even know what love is. You're like, I don't know, 8, 9 at this point? I don't know. Ugh. I giggled, but then it slowly died away. Was I also ... love struck? I mean, we've been friends for about a month now. Is it too soon to say that I am? That's when I noticed that my hand and his were lightly touching at the fingers. Jeff noticed it too and blushed a bit. Without a word, he slid his hand under mine, gripped it, looked away. Why was he looking away? I blushed, feeling my heart beat a little faster. I lightly gripped back, up until we got our bus stop. Yeah. No. no. Oh my god. And I wrote this. I know that I wrote this. Why did I write this? This is awful. This is so awkward. Oh my god, the cheese levels. God, that's terrible. As the bus rolled away, Jeff and me stood still holding hands. Okay, there should be a period there at the end of that. So, see you tomorrow. He let go of my hand and walked with Lou across to their house. Halfway there, Jeff pushed Lou, and Lou laughed. Ha ha, brotherly love, I push you. I blushed as my hand grew clammy. I turned to the back of my house and made my way to the front door. I entered to the house and closed the front door and saw Audric giving me a death stare. I noticed that he had a foul odor to him, as if he hadn't showered in weeks. He was also staggering a bit, trying to keep his balance. He obviously couldn't be any good at all. Who the hell was that? Audric boomed. That was Jeff, Audric. He's a friend from school. Audric grabbed my chin hard and forced me to look up at him. His eyes were red-rimmed and bloodshot. Okay, if I were to write down hyper-realistic, more people would hate that shit. I'd recognize those type of eyes anywhere. That's when it hit me. He'd been drinking. How does a 6-year-old... You know what? I'm gonna... Out of all the things in that scene, that's the thing I choose to question. Oh my fucking god. That boy looks like more than your friend, you dirty little whore. As long as you live here, I will not stand for anything in this sort. Do you understand me? If I catch you with him one more time, I'll call the orphanage and tell them that you're the worst child I've ever had in my custody. You'll be labeled as a problem child and no one will want you. I'll make sure of it. I slowly backed away from him in fear. I then tried to form the proper words to him. Audric, please, I'm not a bad child. Just before I could complete my sentence, Audric punched me in the face, leading me to stagger and lean against a small wall beside me with a lamp on it. Suddenly, he held a bottle in his hand. I felt the pain in my head, along with sharp pain on the side of my face. I faltered and grunted in pain, lowering to the ground while covering my face. I then vaguely saw Irma pulling Audric over me. Then everything went black. I got nothing. I just have nothing. I eventually came to on the bedroom couch, feeling a sharp pain in my head. As I felt it, I also noticed that there was some sort of bandage along my head and my left eye. It was definitely some type of gauze. Ouch, I said to myself quietly, feeling the gauze. The gauze extended from the top of my head to about the middle of my cheek, maybe higher. That's when I noticed that Irma was sitting by the couch, apparently waiting for me to wake up. She kept a tissue to her hand with a guilty expression on her face. Oh my god, Gianna, you're awake! I was so worried! When did you pass out? I thought the worst! Okay, hold the fuck up. So you're going to tell me that Irma has been treating Gia like utter crap, but then once she gets injured by Audric's hands, suddenly she gives a shit? What if she was injured before and didn't care until now? Until it was actually serious? The fuck, bro? I turned to Irma, found it somewhat strange that she ignored me and was strict towards me before, yet she was being kind of sympathetic to me now. What happened, Irma? I said, attempting to sit up, but the pain in my head kept me from doing so. Audric got a little overboard and hid you. He had just lost his job. It was wrong of him to do it. She went quiet for a moment, but I do think he's right about the boy. I was shocked on the inside. But he and Lou are the only friends I have at school, Irma, I said in a concerned voice. Irma pulled a straight piece of hair from her forehead. I know, dear, but you're simply too young to have a boyfriend. If you try hard enough, you can make some other friends. And gone right back to being a bitch, I see. I'm not even sure how I truly feel about him, I said, feeling lost. Besides, somebody is saying these things about me and Jeff that aren't true. Maybe they did something to upset her in that way. Wait. Can I just read that again? Maybe it's you that did something to upset her in some way. Past self, come here. Let's have a talk, you and I. What the fuck? No, seriously, what the fuck? Okay. If I can just go on a tangent, it's... Okay, a lot of bullying excuses end up... When the victim of bullying comes up to someone, it's like, oh, I need help. Someone's bullying me. Someone's being a piece of crap to me. And then they're being like, oh, well, maybe you upset them. Dude, Your adoptive daughter is telling you that this girl is spreading rumors about her, and all you can say is, well, maybe if you weren't such a little tramp, maybe she'd like you more. Okay. Let's move on. Just move on. Hope my anger will calm down for a bit from just that. Just that. Why? Just why? I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Oh my fucking Jesus. Irma said, slowly returning to her normal demeanor. Look, I'm going to call one of the doctors from the hospital to come over. Hopefully one of them should be off today. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's already going to be someone there. And who does... And you would think that with that kind of injury, she'd be sent to the fucking hospital. No, you just decided to lay her at home. Yeah, that makes perfect fucking sense. Makes about as much sense as anything else in the story, huh? Fortunately, one of them had the day off and was able to come by my house. No, really? The doctor patched me up almost as good as new. The doctor also gave me an eye patch to wear later, and the scar on my eye wasn't that as bad. The reason for me having to wear an eye patch later was currently was unknown to me. The doctor didn't need to put in any stitches. Okay, I'm pretty sure he did. Since Irma had already done so when I was unconscious. Well, she probably did it wrong. Her eye could have gotten infected and he had to be surgically removed. In a realistic story, that would happen. Well, at least here her eyes don't get burned off. Oh, Jeff. The doctor said it might take a few days or a few weeks for the scars to heal up and advised me to drink plenty of water, eat well, and get plenty of rest. You know, the usual stuff doctors usually say in this type of situation. In the meantime, I didn't get to go to school. At least I no longer had to put up with Dominique, but at the same time, I missed Jeff and Lou greatly. I thought about what they might be doing without me, and I longed to play with them like I used to. Why couldn't I be with my friends? I mean, duh, so my scar could heal. But still, ... Why couldn't I go outside and play like the other kids? Okay, those three dots weren't needed. And for that matter, why wasn't I allowed to be associated as a Nimitz? Yeah, that is a question. They treat it like crap. And going back to the whole Aldrich thing, if I could just go back to that for a second before I move on. Something in creepypasta that has become more of an issue is that a lot of people complain that the trivialization of real issues like abuse, rape, violence, all that such, even though it is about murders and such. And recently, yeah, I do realize how that can be problematic and such. Am I seriously using the word problematic? Fuck me. Yeah, I could see that. And with this scene right there, it doesn't really add to the plot aside from establishing Aldrich as the bad guy. And even still, it feels like it's just glossed over. And it's one of the many things I regret doing in this story, and once again, I apologize for that. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done that. Why didn't they even adopt me in the first place when they clearly didn't want me around at all? All they'd done for me was give me shelter and food, but that was it. They never gave me anything else but that a true family would give to their child, an adopted child nonetheless. Ever since I stepped foot into this house, I've felt a slow but defined feeling growing inside me. A feeling that hasn't truly been established, only been hinted at. A type of loathing for these people came into play, and every day of the week was filled with their lashing out at one another, along with physical and verbal abuse directed at me. The feeling only grew worse and worse as the following events did. My scar eventually healed into a point where I no longer needed an eye patch, but the growing pain deep inside me only grew worse. See? The abuse was only used as a plot point. It's a plot device. Contrivance. Sorry. I knew that it was a matter of time before it would completely consume me from the inside out. I had to get it out somehow. Taking my anger out on miscellaneous objects weren't doing it for me. It had to be something that I could see suffer. It had to be something I could see slip away from life. At that moment, I fully realized that it had to be a living thing. A human. Why a human specifically? I had dreams of relating to murder before, but then the attack would end up being a nervous wreck after waking up. But now things were different. For some peculiar reason, I was less afraid by those nightmares. The hauntings from these vivid illusions became less unusual and more normal. Before I knew it, I was contemplating killing off the people I knew, save for Jeff and Lou, of course. I was originally going to try my hand in some kind of animal, but I could never get myself to do so. My only anger stayed with other humans, where it was most likely to stay. The urge to kill, or harm at the very least, was inching underneath my skin like fleas on a dog's fur. It was like a psychological need, causing me more pain if I didn't do anything to resolve the problem. With every passing week turned into a month, it was starting to become the end of the school year, and most children would be ecstatic, but I was writhing mentally, sometimes scratching myself until I began to bleed, and even lick at it occasionally. But for some odd reason, Aldrich Grimmer would have me consume some of my own explored blood before getting a band-aid for me, which is usually small. Well, that was just a big, fat paragraph of word salad. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to do something. After school one day, when the others were out, I went up to my room and started making a list of names with the check boxes next to them. I wrote down the names of people I hated the most, including people at my school, in the neighborhood, even people I observed from the neighborhood had been guilty of doing horrible things. I decided that tomorrow I would get started. And who am I first speaker to me, be you ask? Dominique, of course. So, Chapter 3. This has to be the chapter that angers me the most, because of how it portrays abuse and how I characterized Aldrich and Irma, and how they care more that Gia is, for lack of a better term, a little slut than someone being a bully to her. And that sort of thing just ruins it for me. And with all the fridge logic shown in here, the fridge logic in Chapter 3 is just the most painful. It is just painful to listen to. It is painful to read. It is painful to imagine in your head. Thankfully, there's only one more chapter of this crap before I can lay it to rest and work on something new. Something newer with Gia. Something that actually has potential. See ya.